Today we're going to discuss about chemical dependency records and minor consent. When it comes to chemical dependency, the consent process is different. It varies from state to state, and you want to have some clarity about how you want to handle it. So many states, who determines the consent? Like parent and guardian will decide on that. Most cases. Exception is when minor is emancipated or is able to self-consent. So for example, in California, if you're 12 and older, you can consent, so you can consent for release of records. In Washington, you 13 plus, you can consent. So cannot override minor's consent if minor has legally consented. Means like in California and Washington, if 12 plus or 13-year-old are consenting, they are the main ones who have to give permission. Now, in minor's consent is needed if in that state it's allowed. For example, a 14-year-old in California must sign for release for parent access. Okay. So now what form do you need? It's a separate form, CFR Part 2. Like you can't use regular forms for chemical dependency. You need a separate forms, okay? And you should specifically say that it's for chemical dependency. General forms are insufficient. And also the form should require to have all this information. So there should be an expiration date, and there should be specific data about like who needs to get it and what and all those things. And then special rules of parental access is if a minor has consented, then parent cannot access without the minor's consent. Like as we discussed in California and Washington state, the age limits are different. So you want to know that. If parent initially consented, then parent can authorize disclosure. Now, in emergency situations, there are exceptions where the release can be allowed, okay? And the minimum information is only released and must document why there is a release against. And compliance, you have to check state laws. You want to use secure transmission like encrypted email or HIPAA compliant fax and retain consent release for 6 years. And then example workflow is, for example, a 15-year-old seeks opioid treatment and Texas allows age 14 to give consent. The teen signs the consent, and now a separate form is needed for release for parental access. In Florida, parent request 12-year-old. Florida request parent under 18. Everybody, parents need consent. So Florida is different. So the key takeaway is that chemical dependency records have layered consent rules. This form is required, and state laws will determine, and always use specific separate forms and verify state law. Hope that helps.